righty. Well, welcome everybody to our Thursday night team Zoom. I'm super excited to have everybody on. My name is Crystal Pearl, and I'm your Ambassador Diamond upline for those of you that I have not met. This is my husband, Josh.
What's happening?
And we're excited to have you guys on tonight. Ignore our crazy mess in the background. We are in the process of moving right now, and it's absolutely crazy. But we don't make that an excuse. We still get on our Zoom every week, and so we're super excited to be on with you guys. This is something that we do every single week, and really our goal on these weekly team Zooms is to really come to you and give you some skills, some things that you can take with you during the week. We like to call them the meat and potatoes that are really going to help you to build your business. So super excited for tonight. We always love connecting with you guys. These happen every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Central. The only Thursday we skip is the second Thursday of the month because we have our team meeting. But other than that, carve this time out of your schedule because it's a great time for us all to connect. So we're super excited for tonight and what we have planned for tonight. And I'm excited because I got a phone call this last weekend, and some of our team did a weekly team wrap party last Saturday all day long for Global Wrap Party Day. And Lynn Carver-Quinn called me and she said, "Oh my gosh, Dr. Kitty Gray did the party pad and she just killed it. It was amazing." So I wasn't there live, and so I was like, I have to hear this. I want to hear her dive into this. So I'm super excited because tonight we have a very special guest. Do you prefer Dr. Kitty Gray or Dr. Catherine Gray? What do you prefer?
Either one is fine. Kitty or Catherine. Doesn't matter to me.
Perfect. So we're super excited to have her on and to have her share her story.
Me too.
And she's going to give us some product knowledge. So let's start with, can you just introduce yourself to everybody who doesn't know you and share a little bit about your story, and then we'll just jump right into it?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, this is my first time doing this, so I'm going to look at all of you, okay? Hopefully it looks like I'm looking at all of you, and hopefully we're not distracted in the background. So anyways, thanks, Crystal and Josh, for having me speak tonight. I'm super excited to be here and to be sharing about the products. And how I got into this crazy wrap thing was my very first associate, who was a colleague of mine, so also in practice as a chiropractor. I practice in Fridley in Minnesota here. She'd been posting about this crazy wrap thing, and I had seen it for a while, and I didn't really think anything negative or anything positive about it, but what I did think was, okay, this is probably one of the most level-headed people that I know of, and this chiropractor, she's skeptical in a good way, in that we get bombarded every single day. Literally, reps stopping in our office telling us, "We want you to sell our product. How about our greens? How about our vitamins?" And there's many, many good companies out there, don't get me wrong, but you know, you've got to pick and choose, and there's only so many that you can work with. And so since this doctor was working with this line of supplements in the wraps, I thought, I think I'm going to have lunch with her because there must be something up about this. And so what was really cool about it is we sat down and she slid a wrap across the table to me. And then she slid an ingredient sheet and she said, "If you're anything like me, you want to know what you're recommending that patients put on or in their body." I said, absolutely, because I don't want to be recommending something that's toxic that we find out is, you know, bad for them, or especially something that doesn't work. And so I looked at the ingredients list and I'm reading through some of the things and I'm thinking, well, you know, menthol, I know what that does, and eucalyptus and seaweed. Oh yeah, seaweed's really good for detoxifying. And so I kind of put it all together and thought, well, this is pretty wild, you know, how does it work? And she says, well, you know, the magic is in the cream. It tightens, tones, and firms, lifts the skin in 45 minutes for 9 out of 10 people the first time they try it. She also told me that she was using it in her clinic to help with pain and inflammation, okay? So while we don't necessarily want to write this down anywhere, right? There's some things that I can share, right, Crystal and Josh, that from my science background. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Dawn, I'm not. Dr. Kitty, I am. But if you understand the process of lipolysis, which lipolysis is a breakdown of fat cells to get them to yield their contents, okay? Let's imagine, okay, let's use a dime and a quarter as our healthy fat cell and unhealthy fat cell. You are born with the same amount of fat cells that you're going to die with. Okay. That means if you got 100 trillion, you die with 100 trillion. A healthy fat cell, let's picture that as the size of a dime. Okay. It doesn't have to store many toxins. It doesn't have to store, many pesticides from your fruits and vegetables. It doesn't have to store many drugs, whether recreational or prescription. It's healthy. It's doing its job. And you don't have any injuries or any inflammation happening in the body. Now, when you've got inflammation, you've got irritation, you've got injury, you've got the standard American diet, which we like to say is SAD. That's the initials for it. It's got processed foods. It has junk foods. We have too much caffeine in our diet. We do things like smoke and drink alcohol, right? All of those toxins have to go somewhere. And there's a system in the body in which the cells have to retain whatever is around the area. You can't have anything like we call extracellular. It's got to go somewhere. So where do toxins go? They get stored in your fat cells. So do the products of inflammation. They get stored in your fat cells. Okay. So now you have an unhealthy fat cell, and picture that the size of a quarter. Okay. So say someone needs to lose weight and they need to get healthy. Their fat cells are larger, right? They're larger than a healthy fat cell. So the cream that's on this wrap actually helps to break down the cell, that process of lipolysis, to get the cell to cough up its contents. So you get a cell that's the size of a quarter, right? Now is going to try to get down to the size of a dime. Remember, you don't get rid of any fat cells. They either shrink with healthy lifestyles or they grow with unhealthy lifestyles. So I understood that the ingredients in this wrap could actually cause lipolysis, which then got me thinking about using it in our office for pain. If you've ever sprained an ankle, you know it blows up the size of a softball, right? Well, you've got all of that, those inflammatory products that have to go somewhere, because remember, they can't hang out between the cells. The body says, nope, you got to put them somewhere. So it puts them in the fat cells, okay? So then I knew that if we used a wrap on, say, a sprained ankle, a sore back, an injured shoulder, an injured neck, and meanwhile, I haven't even used the wrap yet, right? I just knew, I was so excited that this had the ability to get rid of the toxins out of the fat cell, which meant get rid of the inflammation from any body part that somebody was having pain or injury from, right? So I get this wrap, I'm going to bring it home. I tell my whole family about it. My husband is in the living room, and my oldest daughter is in college at that time. And for whatever reason, she's home that weekend. So it was hilarious, because I said to Jack, you've had neck pain and shoulder pain for about 4 years now from an old herniated disc that, you know, it's hard to exercise a body part when it hurts. And so he hadn't been doing any exercise with it, because when he exercised, it hurts. And then why would he want to hurt anymore? So anyways, long story short, I said, why don't we try the wrap on you? I could cut this thing in a small piece. We can put on your neck and shoulders, and then we can see if you don't wake up with a headache tomorrow morning. And he says, no, hon, I think you should use the wrap because I'm skeptical. And I said, so you mean to tell me if it works and you haven't had headache relief for 4 years, you're going to be skeptical? I just thought that was hilarious, right? He says, no, come on, kids, we're going to wrap mom. So he wanted to wrap me. So we get the whole family involved. He's Mr. Wonderful. He's my biggest fan and my best support. So he's getting ready to take the before and after pictures. My oldest daughter wraps me. 45 minutes later, my youngest daughter unwraps me. Now, I will tell you, I didn't want to move at all because I didn't want this thing to slide, and I wasn't sure what it was going to feel like. So I laid on my couch and I drank a bottle of water. And we had just eaten dinner maybe 20 minutes prior to that, and my stomach growled the entire time. I mean, it was so loud that my husband said, is that your stomach making that noise? I said, honest to God, I can hear the fat cells committing suicide right now. I'm not even kidding you. And so then 45 minutes later, right, it's like, okay, timer goes off. We get to unwrap. So girls take me in the bathroom, they unwrap, and they look at me and they think they can see a change. I think I can see a change. I come out to the living room. Jack does the after picture, and he's like, well, I don't know. I can't really see anything. So my girls, they just lay into him. what do you mean you can't see anything? Come on, Dad. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Because I was told I'm supposed to take pictures at 24 hours, 48 hours, and 72 hours. So no problem. We're gonna, got this under control. I go to bed. I get up the next day. It's about 12 hours. And I'm getting ready to get in the shower. And I'm like, holy cow. So I grab my camera and I take a picture. Now my before and after, it's, two different angles, right? Two different people taking the picture. I had the same jammy pants on from the night before. So that's all I could prove that this really was the before and after. But my results were unbelievable. And, it's probably the same thing that everybody else says, like, holy crap, it works. I mean, it's just, of course they have to call it works, right? They can't call it works if it doesn't work. So that's my long story short. I started wrapping people in my office for pain. I had personal results, and I even wrapped my husband. We cut it in fourths. So I put a fourth on the neck and the shoulder area. He sent me a text. It still pops up on my time hop to this day. We did 4 wraps. So we did a fourth of a wrap once every 3 days for 4 days. After the first wrap, he said to me, this is the first day in 4 years I haven't woken up with a headache. And we finished the treatment and it's gone. I mean, he doesn't wake up with headaches and neck pain anymore. So it's nothing short of a miracle tool for me in our office for pain. But you know what? We're not going to talk about that tonight because that's not even my favorite product. Can you believe it? Like, let's just push the wrap aside. Okay, let's talk about the 4 products that I highlight. Am I going too fast? I'm from out east. I talk really fast. Okay? Right.
I love it.
Super.
I love hearing it. Just to interject into this a little bit, I love hearing your story. I love everything about it and hearing how you were introduced to it and what you experienced the first time. And I love hearing the breakdown of how the product's actually working. So for some of you on here, would you say you're mostly green? I'm assuming you have a lot of green in you, right?
I think I do, but what's the one that, like, I'm super emotionally easily sold to on things. So okay. I don't know, it's like just I don't even know what color.
Little yellow in there. Yep.
Yellow.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Right. So what I want to say is, like, for some people, I love the way you explained it. I love the simplicity of it. But for some people, they might be thinking like, whoa, I could never explain that whole, like, maybe you've never even heard the word lipolysis before to somebody. And what I want you guys to know is that's okay. We're not saying that you need to explain it like this, but we want you to hear it because it's so awesome for our own knowledge. Hearing some of the background on some of these products. So I absolutely love it. I am mostly a blue. So now I've been around long enough that I know some of these things and I know these terms. And I absolutely love it. But I want you guys to know this Zoom is really for you guys, for your product knowledge. So don't feel like you need to leave and all of a sudden explain it the same exact way if that's not how you're comfortable explaining it. So I just wanted to interject that. But I think it's so good for us to know. It's just like when we hear Dr. Don on stage talking about some of these products, it's so awesome for us to know because it builds our beliefs and it's so great to hear it. But that's not necessarily how you're going to go out and explain it. So don't feel like you have to get away from the simplicity of it either.
I will say your testimony, your professionalism and confidence is just killing me as far as like confidence building right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. I totally appreciate that. That's why when I started, Crystal and Josh, asking if it was okay to talk about the science, because that's what I do, right? That's my background. And certainly you don't have to feel like you have to memorize all those big terms and explain them. We actually did a sheet in my office the first time that we had a party, and I was able to explain this in my office. The intern that I had at that time made a little, kind of like a little cheat sheet, and she drew an unhealthy fat cell and a healthy fat cell. And none of the science is on there, but we have a healthy fat cell that has a green circle around it because it shows what the wrap does. So I'd be happy to like get this loaded in the documents section. So if somebody wanted to use that to aid them in how the wrap works, it's probably somewhere between It tightens, tones, and firms in 45 minutes. And lipolysis, okay? It's going to be somewhere in between there that may give you a little bit more of a background as to how can this crazy wrap thing work. And then I don't know where I've been for 4.5 years, but at conference in January, I did not realize that the cream is put on in succession. Did you guys know that? So the first thing that touches your skin is the first thing that has to touch your skin because it has to penetrate through collagen, which is the protein that the matrix that makes up, firms up your skin, right? So it has to be able to get the collagen prepared. And then the next cream that, the next ingredient goes in, and then the last ingredient, and so forth. I didn't even realize they were put on in succession. So it's amazing to think that somebody was doing this by hand, right? Praise God for machinery so they can crank these things out now. So,
right.
It's super. Yeah. So I thought I'd talk about the 4 products that I'm most passionate about, and they're the things that I like to share. And I have in my office what I call, I just call them Dr. Gray's non-negotiable supplements, meaning every single person in my office is going to get talked to about these supplements. And I believe that everybody should be on them. Okay. We're not going to go over those supplements, but I'm going to tell you that 2 of the 5 supplements that I recommend are right from the It Works line. So the first one is the greens, as you know, right? Little packet. This is, I think it's 52 herbs and superfoods and 34 ground up fruits and veggies. That's what I tell people in powder form, right? So, it's green looking, but think berries if you've, berry flavor if you've got the berry. The orange to me, as I tell people, it tastes like watered down Tang. I don't know if you had Tang when you were a child, but that's what it tastes like. It's just very lightly orange flavored. And then let's talk about the game changer, chocolate. I think the chocolate is amazing, especially for kids, because if you get them on the chocolate greens before the Nestle Quick, it's going to be the same thing to them, right? How much do your kids love the chocolate greens, Josh and Crystal?
Oh my gosh, they're obsessed with them. They ask for them actually at dinner. They ask for them every night at dinner, and I'm like, you can't have it. It's too close to bedtime. You got to go to bed. Yeah. But it's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And hey, let's talk about that because, there's no caffeine in the greens, right? So why is it that it could keep us up at night? Well, remember those 34 fruits and veggies that we said were stuffed in there and the 52 superfoods? That means there's ground up energy vitamins in there, B vitamins, other vitamins that contribute to energy. So while it's not caffeine that can keep you awake, it is loaded with a lot of energy vitamins. And so that's why we say if you have trouble having caffeine in the evening, that you shouldn't have it after dinner time. And for people who are super caffeine sensitive, I would recommend that they don't even have this afternoon. I know my office manager, she has pretty much a caffeine allergy. There'd be no way she could take the greens at night. For me, I can take them at night and it doesn't affect me. So, and then just so you know, there might be trace amounts of caffeine in the greens because it does have green tea. Now, green tea has a different type of caffeine. It's a slow release caffeine or a slow metabolism caffeine. Not to give a shout out to Starbucks, but if you've ever had a refresher at Starbucks, they have a strawberry acai, and then I think a lime and a berry refresher. Those are made with green tea. That's a slow caffeine release, so it doesn't jack people up. So there might be a little green tea, but the FDA states that if it's less than 0.5 gram, it doesn't have to be listed on the label. So that's why it's considered caffeine free, because it would be less than 0.4 grams per serving, which is pretty much negligible because decaf coffee at Starbucks contains anywhere from 5 to 25 grams of caffeine. Did you know that? So decaf coffee still has caffeine in it. All right. So 52 herbs, 34 fruits and veggies ground up. This is your alkaline, your detox, and your balancing agent. Okay, this is non-negotiable in my office. Why? Remember we talked about the standard American diet before? It is loaded with processed foods. What's a processed food? A processed food is something that needs an ingredient label. Okay, comes in a box, Comes in a package. It's your baked goods, it's your crackers, it's your cookies. If it's got an ingredient label on it, it's processed. Okay. What else makes us, let me back up. I'm sorry. We need to alkalize our bodies because pretty much everything we do with the standard American diet makes us acidic. Okay. And what does that mean? That means that we are susceptible to disease and inflammation when we have acidic foods and beverages and other things that we do in our lifestyle. Okay. No disease process can exist in an alkaline environment. Okay. You can't have a cold in an alkaline environment. How many of you don't get sick anymore because you started taking the greens on a regular basis? Right. Yep. Me too. I had some major sinus blowout last October, and I can remember that because it had been at least 3 years since I had been sick before that. No disease process can happen in an alkaline environment. Every disease process means your body is acidic. Okay, so if everybody was on a greens drink, well, we'd approach world peace, I'm convinced. But can you imagine probably like 85% of diseases would be wiped out because a disease cannot exist in an alkaline environment. Okay, disease, cold, disease, cancer, disease, heart disease, diabetes. These are all diseases. You know what else is considered a disease, believe it or not? Obesity. Do you know what the medical definition of obesity is? It's needing to lose 30 pounds or more. So sorry for ruining everybody's evening, but literally 30 pounds or more is considered obese. Do you know that you can't lose weight in an acid environment? You have to get your body alkaline. I cannot tell you how many people I've put on the greens and they come into the office and they're like, okay, the only thing I'm doing is I do this greens drink every day. And like the last month I lost 5 pounds. Does that make any sense? Absolutely. When your body gets the nutrition that it needs, it's gonna cough up the stored ingredients that it has in the fat cells, just in case you don't feed it properly, just in case you starve yourself, just in case you give it junk food all the time, right? When you give it what it needs, it's going to give up what it doesn't need anymore. Bodies are very smart. I mean, that's how God designed us. They just store things just in case in the future, but give it what it needs, okay? So that standard American diet, the things that make us acidic, are you ready for the list? Red meat, caffeine, alcohol, processed foods, junk foods, fast foods, smoking. What else? Do we need anything else? Sugar, right? All of those things make us acidic. Hello, that's like the standard way. That's like 80 to 90% of how people eat, right? So when somebody tells me, oh, I eat really well, I don't need the greens drink, right? Remember it's 8 servings of fruits and vegetables in this little packet. I say, okay, that's great. Since the government's My Pyramid food chart wants you to have between 9 and 14 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, did you have that yesterday? Most people aren't even at 5 servings a day. But the 5 servings do include French fries and potato chips, right? Potatoes, the number one veggie that's eaten. And then you know what else is eaten? Iceberg lettuce. Pretty much devoid of any nutrition whatsoever. So just to get the basis, covered of having your 8 servings of fruits and veggies, that's a great jumpstart for the day. You throw that in a smoothie, and then you have a salad for lunch, and you eat around the rainbow, as they say. So make sure that you have colorful vegetables and colorful fruits in your diet, and you've got yourself covered. You're going to make yourself alkaline. And remember, disease cannot exist in an alkaline environment. That's why I think it's a non-negotiable supplement in our office. And that's why it's probably, well, the probiotics, it's a close second, but this is probably my favorite product that we have. Okay. All right. Next. Holy cow. Okay. Crystal, I just have to tell you, it was so funny, that picture that you took where you had the little green capsule, between your lips. You have to post that again in case anybody didn't see that. That just made me bust out laughing. But I loved it because you just showed how easy it is, right? Pop that capsule in. Make sure you're drinking your water. And you always want to make sure, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but on the bottles themselves and on most of the supplements, it says make sure to get 8-ounce glasses of water a day. I was just reading about how important it is for the new you, which we're going to talk about, that you have enough water to flush all of those products through your system so they actually work. So if someone's telling you that they're taking something and it's not working and you're positive that they're taking it, you got to check their water intake. Minimum 64 ounces of water. You know the formula for how much water you need? It's your body weight divided in half. So let's say you're 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces of water. I know it's a lot of water, but why is it half? Because that's how God designed our bodies. Our bodies are 50 to 60% water. That means that 50 to 60% of what we ingest in a day should be water or water-based foods, fruits and vegetables, okay? But let's talk about this because I have some probiotics that I've been recommending in my clinic. They're ones that need to be refrigerated. Has anybody ever asked you that? Oh, do I need to put that in the refrigerator? Because that's kind of the buzzword with probiotics. We're going to talk about why you don't need to refrigerate this one. But the ones that I have in my office, they're about $46 for a month's supply. I've always considered them to be good probiotics. But I also like bringing quality vitamins to the masses. You know, if I've got something that's $31 or something that's $46, and this is just as good, if not better, this is what I'm going to be recommending. So I don't know if you're familiar with the different strains that are in the bacteria, in the probiotics themselves, but let's just talk about what a probiotic does. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to make sure I get my notes out here. Probiotics are the good bacteria that your gut needs to function. Okay. It's needed for regularity. It's needed to help you synthesize vitamin K. And what vitamin K is it is important in the synthesis of complete proteins that function in the blood system, specifically for blood coagulation. And then it's also necessary for your bones to actually bind calcium, in case you didn't know that. Vitamin K is only found in your gut, and it's made by the body by the good bacteria, okay? All of your B vitamins are also assembled in the gut, and they're based on using probiotics, okay? So that's why probiotics are really good for vegans, because the number one source of B vitamins are animal products. And for somebody who's a vegan, they're not going to be making all of their B vitamins like they should, but they can with a good probiotic, okay? There's also prebiotics in here. That's that, I believe it's called inulin in ours, right? And if you see inulin, chicory root, inulin, that is, okay, you know how Dr. Don taught us that we're supposed to love our guts and we're supposed to love all of them? That's where that comes from, because it takes care of the digestive process that starts in the stomach and not just the intestines. So the probiotics build the good bacteria in the intestines, and then in the stomach, you need prebiotics to help your digestive enzymes break down food. So if you have somebody that says, what do you have for GERD? If you've heard of GERD before, it's gastroesophageal reflux disorder. It's a fancy term for heartburn for the most part. You're going to want to make sure that they're on this probiotic, okay? If they have any problems with bowel habits in general, you want to make sure that they're on the probiotics. But let's talk about this. We learned in school that if anybody has been on 2 rounds of antibiotics in their entire life, you will never build up the good bacteria in your gut without supplementation. That's amazing. I mean, some children have been on 2 rounds of antibiotics just the first year of their life, maybe even the first 6 months of their life if they suffer from ear infections. So if you've not taken a probiotic, I don't care who you are, you can't replenish the gut if you've been on 2 rounds of antibiotics in your lifetime. Okay, so we want to get those people on the probiotics. The other thing about the probiotics is some of the different strands actually can target particular conditions in the body. So in my personal development time in the morning, I also do research time. And so I've been wondering why. Okay, so if I have 2 servings of greens, I'm not even kidding you, I have to get my hair cut every 2 weeks. And I already have some high maintenance hair that needs to be cut. Well, it should be every 4 weeks. With good nutrition, it's sooner than that. If I double up on the greens, like if I'm coming down with something and I don't feel well, I have to get my hair cut in 2 weeks. This stuff, it's costing me money, right? It's expensive to take these vitamins, not because the vitamins are expensive, because I got to get my hair cut all the time. So on Tuesday, I'm thinking, what is going on? I cannot get my hair to stand up. I put gel in it, right? I'm like, it's been 8 days since I've had my hair cut. Actually, it was 7 days. Today was 9 because I had to make another appointment to go in. And the last time I went in to see my hairstylist, her name is Renee, she said, are you taking more of those greens again? It's only been 3 weeks. Actually, it was 1 day short of 3 weeks. I said, no, I haven't doubled up on them. I haven't been sick. I don't have any idea what's happening. Well, lo and behold, yesterday I'm doing some research on probiotics, and I find an article, and let me see what it was titled. Oh, anagenesis of hair follicles with probiotic usage. So this article talked about people who were actually growing hair in dead or dormant hair follicles. Okay, we know what hair, skin, and nails does, right? And we tell people that it's only supposed to wake up the hair, or excuse me, it's only supposed to work with hair follicles that have the ability to grow and not necessarily the ones that are dead. People have been taking probiotics, and those who have alopecia are regrowing their hair back. That's a condition in which all of your hair falls out. It's usually random for people. It's usually connected to stress. They have no idea when it's going to fall out. They don't have any idea if and or when it's going to grow back again. So probiotic usage, and I think it might have been the Lactobacillus plantarum. That one's in here. That makes me really excited. And then you've got one on the bottom called Lactobacillus gasseri. That is the newest buzzword for weight loss. That is a probiotic that is causing weight loss, and it's causing significant weight loss, especially in people who are watching their diets and lifestyle. They're losing sometimes 2 and 3 times the amount of weight that they would have lost had they not taken the probiotic. And so remember, if you are acidic, you can't lose weight, okay? And if you don't have a healthy gut, you're not going to be able to lose weight. And then today's research, so yesterday was about the hair follicles. Today's research was the microbiome. Basically, that's your guts. That's the inside of you. That's your imprint of everything that's happened to you, everything you've stored, everything you've done, everything you've eaten. It's the reflection of think of it like a film, on the inside of your entire alimentary or your digestive canal. Your microbiome has to get healthy in order for you to lose weight. And how do you get your microbiome healthy? Voila, probiotics. So this is running a real close second to the greens, because I have seen some miraculous things happen in my office, including a lady who came in to see me. She originally had some knee pain, and we took care of her knee, and then she came back because she had some back pain, and she had been hospitalized for chronic diarrhea. And she had chronic diarrhea, are you ready, for about a year. The doctors pretty much, they said, we don't have any idea what's wrong with you. They did the colonoscopy, they did the endoscopy, they scoped, they checked everything out. They said, we have no idea why you have diarrhea. Go home. Right? That's what they left her with. That was her diagnosis. And so she came in to see me for back pain, but she just happened to mention this condition. And I said, are you taking a probiotic? And she said, I don't even know what that is. I also got to tell my hairstylist about it today. Renee had never heard of probiotics before. So you know how we've been talking recently about, you don't want somebody signing up as a loyal customer with someone else because you didn't ask them and they saw it posted, but you never thought to say anything. When you have answers for people, it's like having best kept secrets. It's hard to keep it quiet. If you've got something to share with somebody that can educate them, you have no idea. That could be life-changing for Renee, because maybe the next person that she sees suffers from alopecia and she remembers, oh yeah, Dr. Kitty Gray was in here and she was telling me about a probiotic. So make sure you share this stuff when when you have more information, you're responsible to share that information. That's just kind of how God designed us. He puts that on us. So make sure you're sharing that out there. But I said to this patient, have you tried a probiotic? And she didn't know what it was, and she hadn't. And I said, I've got one for you. I'm actually going to bring it in, and we'll switch out your order when it comes in, because this lady can't wait. She said she has to get up extra early because she can't leave her house, because she can't leave the bathroom. And she goes anywhere from 5 to 6 times in the morning. I mean, imagine what your life is like. You're literally chained to your bathroom and you can't leave the house. And she's been like this for a year. So all I could think of was just how torn up her insides must be, but how mentally stressful that is too. So we get her on the probiotic. I bring it in I practice Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in my clinic. I see her Monday. I bring the probiotic in Wednesday for her. She comes in on Friday and she said, well, you're not going to believe this, but I was able to get up and leave the house this morning and I didn't go to the bathroom. She went once the day before, and then she went once that day, and she's continued to have normal bowel movements. You know, it's just amazing to me. I can't even imagine how much money this woman spent with the hospital stay and the doctor trips and the tests and everybody trying to figure something out. And $31, I mean, like literally $2. That's what that, 2 pills, $2. It's life-changing, right? She'd have paid $1,000 for this if she knew it was going to have results like that, right? What we have is so good and it's so affordable, and we got to get it out to the masses. So probiotics and greens are 2 of those 5 non-negotiable supplements that I talk about. Are we doing good? Do we got to go to bed? Is everybody falling asleep, or can I keep talking? I have 2 more products.
I think we're good. I'm loving it.
You are
okay.
tearing it up.
All
this
right.
is interesting.
Super. Well, I'm going to get ready to take my New You because I take that before bed. So we're going to talk about New You here. So New You is, it's a supplement that is supposed to boost human growth hormone levels. It promotes lean muscle growth. And then it can also promote restful sleep. So let's talk about why. The science, don't let it go over your head. You can go back and write this stuff down in case you needed to know this or not. But the velvet bean and the gamma oryzanol are the 2 precursors that have scientific studies that show that you can actually make human growth hormone, okay? This is not a supplement for anybody under age 25 because you're still making human growth hormone up to that point. After age 25, you're going to need some help, and the precursors are in here to do this. And so I started on New You about a year ago. So I'm 51. When I turned 50, I thought God had a really good sense of humor because I've been training with my trainer Monday and Friday for 11 years now, so 10 years into our training. And I started to get really sore after my workouts. And I'm not talking like the good kind of soreness, I'm talking about like damaged soreness. And it's right around my 50th birthday. Hilarious, God, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to take something. And I actually didn't even think to take the Relief. I thought to take the New You because I knew that it helped with muscle repair. There's a lot of amino acids in there that if you guys are into weightlifting and you've ever heard of BCAAs or branch chain amino acids, you've got those amino acids that are necessary for protein synthesis, which repairs muscles after a workout. So I started to take the New You, and I noticed that I wasn't as sore. But something else that I noticed is, so I wasn't really consistent with it. And I started to notice that on the days that I didn't take it, the next morning, I had a really tough time waking up. Now, I'm a morning person. I'm up at 5:15 in the morning for the most part. But I'm also a snooze button person, just hit the snooze, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So even though I'm a morning person, I have a tough time getting up in the morning. I noticed that if I took the New You the night before, I couldn't even hit the snooze button. Like I couldn't sleep in if I wanted to. And I thought that was really crazy. So I started to do my own experiment. I would take it every other night and sure enough, on the nights I didn't take it, it was a tough time getting up. On the nights I did take it, I didn't have any problem getting up. So I like to sample this in my office. And if you're comfortable giving out a sample, I don't know if that's necessarily corporate approved, but when I give a sample out, I always show the person I'm opening the bottle. And then I have a little bag that you can get from CVS that you can write the instructions on. It's a little pill pouch. And then I put in 4 of these, okay? So that they see it's coming from the bottle. And I tell them, we're going to do a sleep experiment, okay? Because I feel so strongly about this promoting restful sleep because it has GABA. And I don't know if you know what GABA is, but it is an amino acid that functions as if it was a neurotransmitter. And a neurotransmitter is a chemical messenger that takes information from one nerve cell to the next nerve cell to the next nerve cell till it gets to its target. So it's kind of like the Pony Express. Remember how they used to deliver mail once upon a time? That's how nerves talk in the body, through chemical messengers. And GABA is the one that promotes restful sleep, okay? So I tell people, you're going to do an experiment for me. On the package, I write day 1, 2 tablets, day 3, 2 tablets. So let's say I give it to them on a Monday. All right, I want you to take 2 tablets tonight. I don't want you to take any tomorrow night. And then I want you to take 2 tablets on Wednesday night. And then you're going to report back to me how you felt. And again, it's probably like 9 out of 10, like the RAP results. Not everybody has, the same phenomenal results, but most people come in and they say, I could tell a difference with my sleep, especially people who are having trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. Random little bit of trivia for you. If you have trouble falling asleep, it's a melatonin production. And if you have a melatonin production issue, if you have trouble staying asleep, it's your B vitamins. You don't have enough B vitamins. So remember this guy, get that in. That's going to help you sleep, believe it or not, because it's stuffed full of B vitamins. So I love the New You as an alternative to sleep aids out there. I was just reading about Benadryl. If people actually give their children Benadryl to get them to sleep at night, which is, it's kind of a crazy thing to me because Benadryl should be for allergies, and I even have natural alternatives for that. We're not going to go into that now, but there's been some evidence to show that your child can have ADD and ADHD later in life if they had regular Benadryl usage when they were little. That's just crazy that those two could be connected. But most of the sleep aids on the market, if you've ever heard of like Tylenol PM or any of the ones that you can buy over the counter, what they are is it's Tylenol plus a Benadryl. It's diphenhydramine hydrochloride. That's what Benadryl is. Tylenol plus a Benadryl, ibuprofen plus a Benadryl. The crazier ones out there like Ambien, that's a really dangerous one to take. And I don't recommend that. People have gotten up in the middle of the night and driven in their cars. We had a patient come in and he showed us that he had a bunch of receipts in the floor well of his car from Wendy's, and they were all in the middle of the night. He was taking Ambien, and unbeknownst to him, he was like sleep driving and going to Wendy's and ordering food. And he had no idea until the next day when he would look in his car and he'd have these receipts and food wrappers. It's crazy. Let's offer natural alternatives instead of drugs for people who can, need help getting to sleep. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to wrap it up here with Confianza. This is another one that I like to sample in the office, and I'm going to tell you what we do with that. But first, let's talk about the Chinese herbs, which are called adaptogens. Okay. In our office, I have a questionnaire that I used to give out to patients because it's now been replaced by just Confianza. I'm super excited. But the questionnaire, the people had to answer the questions, and they had to say if they, it was all questions about their stress, right? And so then when I scored the questionnaire, I found out, are you stressed and wired? Are you stressed and tired? Are you stressed and depressed? Are you stressed and overwhelmed? Are you stressed and anxious, right? And then I would pick a particular Chinese herb for them that was going to help that condition. Well, this thing is stuffed full of Chinese herbs called adaptogens. And the cool thing about adaptogens is that they adapt to whatever your body needs. So if I've got somebody that's stressed and depressed, I can give them the same supplement that somebody who's stressed and wired, stressed and depressed, stressed and overwhelmed. These herbs do exactly what your body needs them to do. So here's the experiment that I give to patients. I put 2 in a bag and I say, okay, at the first sign of, I've had it up to here, right? When you just feel like you're getting a little anxious, or maybe that you just feel off, or you're feeling overwhelmed, I tell people, take 2 Confianza and then go set your cell phone timer for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, go, timer goes off, go check your head, okay? And see how it is. I've had people get off of Xanax and use Confianza. I have people getting off of Prozac and using Confianza. Xanax and Prozac, they're antidepressants, anti-anxiety medicines. We've got a natural alternative, folks. Again, probably 9 out of 10 people feel a sense of calm and a sense of well-being. Some people can feel it just by taking 1. I have some patients that take 1 and they can literally feel it wearing off about 12 hours later, and then they take their second. They're using it as a drug, which is completely okay. It's all natural, but it's doing drug-like effects to their bodies. And so if you have somebody in your life that suffers from some mental health issues, and I'm not talking about, we're not talking about you go diagnose them and you tell them this is going to solve all their problems. Give them a sample. Tell them to set their timer in 30 minutes. Check to see how they feel. If they felt that it helped them, why wouldn't they want to take that every day of their life, right? Get them on a 90-day challenge. See what it does for their mental status, okay? So my top 4, greens, probiotics, New You, and Confianza. And now I will stop talking so everybody can go to bed, because everybody's rubbing their eyes, and I'm sorry it was long, but thank you so much for letting me speak. And I'm really blessed to share, and I make myself available if anybody has any questions at all times. So.
Absolutely. That was awesome. I know I'm like, oh my gosh, I already loved all of these products, but now I'm like, okay, every single day, no matter what, we're doing it. And I love too, because some of those products are ones that we don't talk about all the time. Like we talk about the wraps a lot, and we talk about the greens a lot. But I think it was just really awesome.
You mentioned my top 3, and now I might have a top 4.
Yeah.
It seems like I should be using the probiotic.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I continue to be amazingly impressed by the ingredients. These are also whole food supplements. That's another thing that you can tell somebody. If they're taking 1 a day, just tell them, go ahead and throw your 1 a day in a glass of water. In 30 minutes, it should be powder, or you should be able to stir it around and it should become powder. It's going to look like a rock the next day. And so is their calcium supplement. And so is the junk that they're taking from the grocery store. If you are taking a vitamin from Target, you know what Target's biggest concern about selling you vitamins is? How little can we pay for this vitamin? And then how much can we mark it up to sell it to the unsuspecting public, right? I see vitamins on x-rays all the time. I circle them and I tell patients in their colon, right? It's like, okay, that's your large intestine, and that's either your 1 a day or that's your calcium from Target. Wow. And they think I'm some sort of magician. And I tell them, nope, it's junk. It's going out the same way that it went in. We can see it. It's laying there whole in your gut, right? Take a whole food vitamin. If you buy any of your vitamins from GNC, they're synthetic. They're not going to break down in 30 minutes, okay? We have whole food supplements. We have an amazing quality line of supplements.
Holy smokes, you have a lot to offer this team, and we are going to be picking your brain like crazy from here on out. This is amazing. Absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Thanks, please do. I'm not really sure why I was hiding, but I'm glad I've come out from hiding. So
we're glad too. No, this was so awesome. And just like Josh said, you're such an asset to our team. So I really appreciate you taking your time out tonight to share with us a little bit about some of the products. And
sure. Thank you.
I'm excited. So thank you so much. And at that, if you guys,
thanks guys. Thanks everybody.
I do have a question. You said something in there. I threw it in the chat actually. You said something like, if you have something to offer, you should probably share it. Something somewhere along the line of that.
So you're wondering what she said?
Yes. Yeah. It's hard for me to not recommend something for somebody when I know it can help them, right? Mm-hmm. And were you guys on the Debbie Sasick Zoom the other night. It was kind of the same thing, giving somebody a Blitz card, right? That could be a lottery ticket for someone's life, right? Josh and Crystal, it was a lottery ticket for you guys. If I've got a supplement that I know could help somebody, the probiotic could help every human being that I know of, right? The greens could help every human being. So I just ask people in casual conversation, oh, what greens drink do you drink? What's a greens drink, right? Oh, you don't drink a greens drink? Oh, well, let me tell you about why you should have one. It's just easy to do, because if you've got a cure for cancer, are you going to sit on it, or are you going to let people know, right? In fact, we have had 4 patients now who have needed less chemo and less radiation and less surgery by starting on the greens from the time that they found out that they got their diagnosis to the time that they had their surgery. That we got to share that. We got to let people know that we have quality supplements that literally can change their life.
Absolutely. And one thing that I love about everything that you shared is you back it up with, hey, here's what happens when you use some of these ingredients. Because one thing, especially for newer people that are on here, I think most people know, but we cannot claim to cure any diseases. And so the way Dr. Kitty shared about it, where, okay, I've learned about this ingredient, and here's what this ingredient can help with, has been shown to help with. Right. I think you did it in such a beautiful way. So I think, it's just something important. I don't want you guys going out there and saying, everybody should take greens because it cures cancer, which I don't think any of you would, but just so you guys know, we absolutely cannot do that. But the way Dr. Kitty explained it is a beautiful way for you guys to do that and still stay within compliance of what we can and can't do. So
my post is going to be something along the lines of, I am overwhelmed with the amount of information that was just thrown at me, Dr. Catherine today. So pumped about the freaking products we have. And I found out about a new favorite.
Yeah, you're overwhelmed in a good way, right?
Yeah.
So thanks, Crystal, for reminding people of that, right? You can say, did you know that cancer can only happen in an acidic environment? Our greens make you alkaline. There's no guarantee, right? You're just simply letting people know this is what this product could do for you, right? But remember, you got to take them. Yeah. That's the key. Right?
Yes. Absolutely. Well, I think everybody's gonna go off of this Zoom and go change their auto ships. Yeah. I'm super excited about that. And
I'm gonna have the green
testimonies.
I'm gonna have the green pill in my lips tomorrow.
There you go. I love it. I want to see that picture, Josh. That's awesome. Thanks again, everybody. Much love.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll make sure to get everybody this recording. I've already seen a lot of people asking for it, so we'll make sure to get that up for you guys. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us tonight, and we'll see you all next week. Good night, everybody.
Super. All right. Sweet sleep. I'm going to take my new you. All right. Thanks.
Me too.
Bye-bye.
This is amazing.